Hello and welcome back to Building Roots Abroad. I'm Giovanna, your host and a curious podcast lover who is always looking for new stories. This podcast is all about real people who've been brave enough to build careers, friendships, and entire lives far from home. You will love discovering the different ways people follow their own path and find success abroad. In today's episode, we have Christine. After high school, Christine chose adventure over comfort, swapping Norway's free education for Australians' vibrant opportunities. Discover how her passion for marketing led her to build a career down under, the culture shocks she faced, and the bold choices that she made across her journey. A story of courage, ambition, and building a life abroad that will inspire you to chase your own dreams, no matter where they take you. Hi guys, and welcome to Building Roots Abroad. I'm very happy to have here with me today Christine. Christine is not just a friend, but also we work together. So yeah, it's very special to have her as the first guest in our episode. So before we start with the questions and everything, I would just let her present herself. So welcome to Building Roots Abroad. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you for having me, first of all. So I'm Christine. I'm originally from Norway and have now lived in Australia for like 4 years, where 2 of them were at uni, and then I had 2 years here working.
Amazing. And then I think just going to the beginning of everything, why did you decide after high school to come overseas and do university, and then eventually also why Australia?
So for me, it started with the thought of I wanted to do something abroad, but I knew that if I did exchange, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I just decided that, okay, if I'm going to go abroad, I need to do my full bachelor. So I was like, let's just do it. Contacted an organization that helps people study abroad, that does it for free. And I kind of had still stood between Australia and England, but I ended up picking Australia. Because also something my dad said. I talked to him and I was like, I don't know, because the UK is so close. It's easier because it's right there.
How many hours is UK from
2 hours?
Norway?
Maximum 2 hours. So my dad was literally like, you can go to England whenever you want. You can go there for a weekend. Australia, you're never gonna go there. If you don't actually go there for a reason. So I ended up really just throwing myself out there. I was like, okay,
nice.
It's gonna be Australia.
Yeah, that's pretty cool because as your dad said, Australia is very far. So if you want to do just an experience, you should choose here because at least for myself, that's why I chose Australia as well, because I knew that I wouldn't come here just in a trip because you need at least 3 weeks to make it count. So it's very cool that was your reasons. And then in Europe, we know university normally is quite affordable. Why you decided to specifically do university abroad?
So I decided to do university abroad specifically more because I wanted to improve myself. I wanted that confidence and independence because I felt like that was stuff I just struggled with my whole life, standing on my own legs and trusting myself. That was something I had teachers literally telling myself you need to trust yourself more. You're struggling with actually putting trust in yourself. So I knew this was a big challenge for me. So I just was this will help, and especially Australia, it's I can't pick up a phone and call my parents or anything like that for help because the 9-hour time difference currently. So I'm I just have to trust myself and throw myself out in things. That has really helped. I feel I have gotten confidence.
So you would say that you chose more to build confidence and independence. Yeah. And then talking about still Australia, what were your first impressions?
I think for me the biggest thing was the feeling. So I nothing felt real. I was I'm in Australia. I am on the other side of the world. I just realized I know nothing. I have no idea where anything is. And I just need to figure stuff out. But I kind of loved it as well. Looking back, I'm it was such a fun experience as well as it was terrifying.
Yeah. Definitely can relate to that. Oh my god. Yeah. And then do you remember having any memorable culture shock? Did you feel kind of felt anything a bit like comparing to Norway and pretty much how life is there? Do you remember anything specific apart from the weather? But yeah,
the fact that the weather is actually a conversation in Norway.
Yeah.
I would say like for me the people. So Norwegians are known to be very cold, and we can be. I also think it depends on the season you're there. And this is something that's really weird. During winter, people are very depressed.
Yeah.
People don't want to talk to you. People are very like, stay out of my business, I'm staying out of your business. The weather actually affects us.
Very cold.
Very cold, yeah. But during summer, people are super happy, super friendly. While in Australia, I feel like people just are open. Regardless, like people are super, super nice. I've been in the hospital and people have been like, oh, are you okay? Like, are you alone? I just feel like that whole like, Australians just are much more like, nicer to strangers, and like they go more out of their way to help, while Norwegians are a bit known to be like, oh, I'm gonna stay for my own business.
Yeah, interesting. The whole like culture shock is mainly like the people and the weather.
Yeah,
I would say, like, because here is a bit like tropical.
Yeah.
So for you, even like early on your experience in Australia, but you can even consider the whole experience, what were like your biggest challenges, either like personally or professionally?
I would say like being international, you get a lot of like difficulties jumped on you very quick. Like you'll be stuff like housing, like it can be very hard to like find housing. You normally have to share accommodations with other international students from different nationalities, and unfortunately you don't always get people that you click with. All the times you get people that's great. It really just depends, and depends on how your cultures clash. There's stuff with like smell, like, you know, like foods, they smell very different in different cultures. So a lot of stuff like that was kind of like difficult to get used to.
Yeah, makes sense. Even for me, like it's very hard to kind of like share space with people that are that different to you.
Yeah.
So then going to transitional from like university to work, after graduating, you return to Norway and you consider like work in Norway, you even got like some job offers in Ireland. Why then you decided to come to Australia again? Like why, how was it process to decide, now I finished my uni, I want to try again and go to Australia for the work experience as well?
So I moved back to Norway again for Christmas. I'd packed everything, sent everything home just in case, because I didn't know what's going to happen. And then obviously started like applying. I've been to one interview here that we obviously work now, and I then applied obviously for other places as well, like one does, just in case. And I got the offer in Ireland, and I stood between obviously these two, because I got them around the same time. There was literally like 24 hours between them. And I suddenly had two job offers in front of me. Very different ones as well. But I ended up picking like the one we have now with Australia, because I was like, I already have a network here. I already had friends, already knew people, knew the system, had everything kind of like that I needed. So I was like, it's easier. And then for me, it was also the job interview. So when I was talking to the people from Ireland, and like the guy, he was very stoic. Like he didn't like have a lot of expressions. Like he seemed very like, okay, with not a bit if I talked, like not too much. It was very like serious. While when I had interviews with obviously our company, it was much more a conversation, like getting to know you, what's your experiences. Like it was much more of a conversation. It was flowy, it was nice, it was comfortable, it was very, very welcoming. I literally went back to bed like happy. Like I was like, oh, I feel like I had a good conversation. Like I feel like I had a really, really good feeling. Like my gut feeling was so, so good. And I think that's obviously important to think about when you're picking a job, because these are people you're going to see every single day. And I knew people already in Australia, I knew the system, so I was just like, yeah, that just seems like the right choice.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good like I think insight to have from the interview. You already know like what company would be good for you and what not.
Yeah.
Then how like has like work in Australia been to you compared to what you expected? So I know you didn't work in Norway like in an office job, but did you expect anything?
Like working here?
Yeah. Do you think it met your expectation?
I think yes, in a way, like because it was obviously my first corporate job. So I think my expectations, especially after the interviews and stuff, was that it should be very social, very welcoming. And it was. And they really, really cared about the work culture as well. And they made that sure into as well. So I was like, it just seems like a great company to work for. And I do feel like that those expectations were met.
Amazing. Yeah, I love that. It's a very good like comparison, I guess. So with your expectation and what was actually the reality. Then for you, what was the most like rewarding part of building your career here in Australia? So did you feel it was the right decision to either like do uni here but also build your career here? Like how do you feel about that?
So like it's always really hard to say was that the right decision, because you never know what life would have looked like if you did something else. I think like we talked about with me getting confidence and me trusting myself more, I do believe that I did make the right choice, because I don't think I would have been like this if I didn't go through what I went through, because I do feel like I've grown so much as a person. In a very positive way as well. Like it's kind of like I had my best years experiences here. Another thing is the fact that in Europe, especially in Norway, there is high competition in marketing. So if I was there, I wouldn't have had like any like go ahead in front of other people, because like I would just be another person. Like I wouldn't stand out in any way, because they'd be like, oh, you did your bachelor in Norway, and then I probably would have to do a master as well to stand out, but then everyone does a master to stand out, so suddenly you don't stand out anymore. So it's like, oh cool, while here it's like, oh, I've been abroad. And at times, like, you can use that as well, being like, I lived abroad, meaning that I can be independent, I can work myself, I obviously know English, obviously used it every single day, you know. I like, you could show your skills, because the fact that, and you have that in the background, you're not just like, oh, I know English, you're like, no, I used English every single day for years. And I can actually show that, no, I'm not like just good in English, I'm fluent, and I have actually like experiences to back it up.
It's very powerful.
It is. And the fact that like Australian unis are really good as well. Like they are generally just really, really good unis, so my education is good. I was like, okay, I get an expensive bachelor, but that's instead of doing the bachelor and master back home. It kind of works out in a way.
I think the fact that you pay more than in Europe, of course, because Europe university is way cheaper than here, as an international especially. It's very expensive, but I think you pay more now, but then you get to get the work experience, which is like pay less. Like, it's not even like that you can't pay for experience, like the work experience actually even pays you. So like
it's like an investment in yourself.
You invest and you got the result, so it's pretty cool.
So no, I'm very thankful, I'm really happy. But obviously I'm also very blessed because I am from Norway, so we have a financial aid. My government, they're like, oh, we will pay you, like we would fund you, but then
like a loan.
Like a loan. I get a loan, but it's like a good loan, because they're very much nice in terms of like they won't always be like, oh, we need money now. Like if something happens, like you lose your job, they're like, okay, we will wait, we'll just add on interest or something like that.
That's pretty cool, because then you can get a loan and decide whatever you want to do, and then when you get your work experience, you can start paying this loan, which is way different than going to the bank or anything like that. So I think that's very important to cover as well. It's not that from day one you always had the money to pay the whole university up front. It's more like you found a way to actually come here and do this kind of education. Great. So I think also a very important question that I think I have for you today, but also a lot of people may wonder, is like, to become a marketer in Australia, how was that for you? Do you think it was very hard, the process was very hard to dive into the work experience here? How was that for your host?
So like getting the job was like, it was on LinkedIn. I think like getting the job is like any other process, like normally, like in Australia and Norway and whatever, like it's gonna be the same process. Like you apply and you just hope for the best. I think the only thing I would like be like an advice would be just apply for it. Like, let the job say no to you. Don't say no to the job, because I almost didn't apply for this job because I said it said digital marketing executive, and I was like, oh, that's not entry level. Oh no, that probably means they need someone with higher skill level, because I was scared of the title. I was like, oh, that's probably not me. But then I read the job description, and I loved the job description. Like, it was so much fun, so much nice. I was like, oh, like, this is perfect. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna apply for it. They're just gonna say no. And I remember, like, when I got the interview the first round, I'm like, I'm not gonna get it because it's executive. I'm not, like, it's not gonna be me. Like, I'm too, like, low. I'm just happy that they
because you thought like executive was like something higher.
Yeah, I didn't think it was entry level, because I normally they say entry level, just digital marketer. So I was just like, oh yeah, that's not me. I'm not gonna get it, even though I love the job description. And then I got in, like, I got the job. So I'm like, apply for it. The worst thing is that they're gonna say no to you. So if it is something that you're like, it looks really good, as long as they don't say in the job description, like, we need 5 years experience, then obviously you know I'm not gonna get it if you have entry level. But if it's like, it doesn't like say that, and it's just a title, don't be scared. And at times, if it is like a bit like, oh, a bit more experience than you have, if it's within the realm of what you have, apply for it.
Yeah.
And if they say yes, that's
but at
great.
least you tried.
Yeah.
That's cool. And you feel like your resume, because that was your first market experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your resume was more like on the degree you have done. What do you think stand out for them to actually call you?
So I worked in retail. So I was just like, oh, we do a lot of marketing promotions. So I work very closely to the promotions. Always, I think this is the biggest thing I don't think people realize, is that you can always use whatever experience you have in work experience. You can always have something. Like, when I'm like, oh, I worked in sales, you're like, oh, that wouldn't make sense. No, it does. Oh, I work in sales, I work close to marketing promotions, I'm promoting this marketing, Oh, I worked with a lot of people, and with a lot of different like cultures, background, meaning that I can work with a lot of people in different teams, in different settings. Yeah. You can always relate something. Yeah, it's in a way that where like, it makes sense, even though never be like, oh, I don't have any, like, obviously some stuff you might be like, oh, I don't have experience directly into this, but you can always put something you've done. So it's like, that is stuff like you wouldn't think like on that immediately that that's work skills, but it is, because it says you as a person in the team. Yeah, soft skills they call it. It's like skills you have as a team member, and that is important. Yeah, I think it's very good insight, because sometimes you feel you don't have the professional experience and you won't get a job like we have, but you can always adapt. So very cool. Great. So transitioning to connections in community, because I think that's very important for our podcast and all what the title actually involves. Do you feel you found like easy to build relationships or like build your community in Australia? Like, do you feel part of the Australian community? I would say no. No. I think like when you go abroad, like to a different country, you think you're gonna be this like exotic bird. Like you think everyone's gonna look at you and be like, oh my god, like how cool. Okay. No one cares. That's just a truth. Especially here, so many. Like, if you go to study in São Paulo, everyone's gonna be that. Yeah, probably. They'll be like, oh my god, internationals. But maybe here, I should have done that, you know? Yeah. You're gonna be the princess of the university. But here is like literally 60% of uni is international. Yeah. You're not special. No, but you think you're gonna be. You're like, oh my god. Humbled really quickly. No, I don't think so. And I also feel like a lot of Australians are like, because again, they're just there to like study. For them, that's not like, for us, it's like, oh my god, uni in Australia, like I'm so excited that for them it's just like it's their school. Like they're just there, like it's every day for them. It's not as exciting probably. So you don't think they socialize a lot? Like they already have their network. Yeah. So they're probably always going to be like, oh, but I have my friends. Why am I going out of my way to befriend you? Like they don't need you. To say it like that. I know that sounds like really harsh, but that's just the truth of it. They don't need you. So it's really hard to connect with Australians. But I do feel like obviously I made connections with other internationals. Like I got a lot of friends from especially Asia. And I really love that because I love getting to know people and know different cultures, and I think it's really, really fun to learn. While Australians, obviously, for them, it's nothing special. Yeah, I definitely think on top of that, it's just like, of course, they are living their life, while like international students, I think they are more keen to connect because we don't have many friends and family and everything. But yeah, definitely there are places that you can interact more with natives. I think like uni clubs and work is where you can find
people there because they are not in the usual like environments that we international will be, I guess.
Yeah.
Nice. So for you, I know it's a tricky question, but what does like home means to you?
Oh wow. For me, it's hard because Australia is gonna become home, but it's not a home.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds really weird and confusing, but for home for me is where it's kind of this like warm feeling of like, for example, like with culture and like for example Christmas. For me, like that's like we will do stuff very different from Australia. We will have like a real Christmas tree. We will like decorate. We will have our culture and traditions.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just this like warmth and like almost like relaxation that's like coming with like going back to Norway, because I think it's something to do like you know everything, you're very used to everything, and you have this association as well. Like, oh, I'm just here, you know, I'm home. Like also probably because of the last couple of years I've been there on vacation to visit, so it's been very like, oh, I'm just here to like relax.
Yeah.
Growing up, I always thought Denmark as a second home because I'm half Danish and been to Denmark like a million times. But Australia has kind of become more home, obviously, than Denmark because I never lived in Denmark. Okay. But it's become home in such a way of like a different version of me, like a version I like the best, actually. Like it's become...
Yeah, it's like your adult version is Australian-ish.
Yeah, and it's kind of been like, I feel like certain things, certain characteristics and personality traits I gotten from Australia because I learned stuff here, because I gotten used to stuff here. Certain things that I would never grow as a person in Norway, I gotten here as personalities. For example, like I do feel like I am much more comfortable just being me because Australians are just more open and more like okay with whatever. And like you said, it's where like we have our adult life.
Yeah. Nice. And then how do you think like living abroad change your perspective about life? Do you feel like now you appreciate more things that before you didn't? Or maybe like living abroad, you're always going to have the sensation that you have many homes, as we were talking.
I think that was like, I didn't realize how privileged I was before that. And even like at times in Australia as well, it was like with health. I feel like you and me talked a lot about health, how like it's so expensive here and you don't feel like you always get the help you should get. But I know if I went home, I'm not like, obviously Norway is so known for their health. Like even though like, waiting lists and stuff could be hard, and obviously Norway has its own issues with health as well. I just feel like are more being taken care of than other places. And I know it's not going to like cost me X amount of money. Like I know it's going to be like, I will survive the cost. Like it's not going to be like $250 freaking dollars. It's going to be like,
here is like insane. They literally charge you $400 to talk to a specialist for 10 minutes.
Well, in Norway, like if I went to my doctor, it would maybe be $30.
Yeah,
even less.
I don't get it, to be honest. Like I know a lot of people are against this topic, but they say Australia has public health. This is not true. Even if you are Australian, the specialist will cost you $400. You can get money back, but you can get rebate, whatever you call, but it's not much money back. So yeah, definitely like health will be, even in my opinion, a reason why to leave. Yeah. Because it's so frustrating. And I know, like, I don't know, I always see a lot of like social media debates, like Americans and Australians. America's very expensive. But in Australia, it's also expensive. Like you don't, maybe as an Australian or Medicare, because is a thing here, you don't pay for going to the hospital, but everything else you will pay. Like if you have any issue with your heart, whatever, you're gonna pay. So I kind of like understand feeling like the privilege on that one, because it's just like...
Because like even like we have coworkers that we heard stories about, and they're like, oh yeah, it's super expensive, and the fact that people have to stop like treatments or like
because
it's
too expensive,
to, like,
and
doctors.
Like people that we know, like people that can have a normal life, they just
like I never heard someone being like, oh yeah, I stopped going to see my doctor because it's too expensive. Like that wouldn't happen. People be like, no, you're going. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, very strange for a first world country. I think that's the only point in Australia that I'm like, sounds about wrong.
Yeah, this shouldn't be like that. But that's why I'm like, that's like one thing I really like noticed.
That's a good perspective, because you kind of like start like valuing a lot of things that you probably didn't before.
So this one's gonna be really random. And another one is water. Drinking water here has like it took a while.
You drink from the tap.
Back
home.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because everything we drink from you can just take the tap and just drink, and it's like clean water.
Yeah.
But here, if you do that, it has like, I gotten used to it now. Mm-hmm. But that was like the strangest thing to me coming here, because it has like a weird aftertaste.
Yeah. I would not recommend drinking from the tap.
No, people generally have filtered water or they buy water.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so in terms of like advice for people in general, what advice would you do to someone considering moving abroad and build a career like you did? Can be like anyone listening, can be people from your country.
I would say if you're going to work, the biggest thing would be like, don't be scared of like creating relations with your coworkers. I would say one, because I feel like I've seen so many things like, your coworkers are not your friend, they can be your friends. Like it's not bad. Like I don't understand why people are like, oh, that's so bad. It's not.
Yeah.
Like one of the reasons why we got really close is because we started talking about movies and cinemas, and we're like, oh, let's just go.
And also because we clicked very well, so we were like suggesting a lot to hang out after work and
that
outside.
Like
I think
worked a lot, because now we obviously are really, really good friends.
Really, really good friends.
And it's like literally my mom would ask about you.
Yeah.
Even though she's never met you. Yeah. Like it's gotten to that point, and it's like because we were just like, oh yeah, like we're clicking, let's just like obviously hang out.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, if you have that relationship with the coworker, or like you feel like you're clicking with someone, just ask them.
Yeah.
Like, parts like, they might say no, but then it's like, okay, you tried.
Yeah. And I think because we started that, kind of became even a thing in our little group of friends now here at work, because we had a very strong relationship, I feel, and then we were doing a lot of things that, outside of the workspace, kind of like the other people around us started joining us. So I think it's a very good advice, because maybe you are the international, so maybe you don't have friends, that's why you're inviting your work friends. Maybe not, the other people that are actually from here, they start joining us, because why not, like doesn't matter if you're gonna see them every day and then you also one on the weekend. It's like, a different environment.
It
you
is
should try.
Like it's actually really nice to see people from work setting also in like
personal
outside.
life.
And then like I also feel like that also, like when you come back to work, you obviously still have like, you're able to switch back to professional, but you still have that close relationship with someone, where it's like when you have lunch together, you can still then talk like and have that connection still. And I think it's just gonna help in like everyday setting, because you're not gonna go into work feeling like, oh, I'm going to work. It's like at times you're like, I can't wait to see this person. It's kind of like now it's like personal if someone takes leave. It's like, why are you leaving me? It's like
we had that like we have been working here almost for 2 years, and we always have that.
It's like, why are you taking leave? Why are you leaving me? You're not allowed to. And that's like so it's like you get. So I would just be like, go for it.
Yeah, so good. And then. Still in the advice kind of topic, if you could go back in time, there's anything would you like do differently from your experience since you started everything?
Maybe I would tell myself, try to do more. Like just try to be like, I already did a lot like with uni. I would always go out on those like stupid events,
like networking night.
And like I went to like grabbing a coffee. Like I did that, even though I don't drink coffee, but I did it.
Did you make any friends?
I did. I did make friends, and one of them I'm still in contact with. Like, so that's why I'm like, definitely go to those events. One thing I've like changed is maybe doing more of that. Or like how you talk about the clubs. I never did any clubs. I'm like, oh, maybe I should have done that. But I think for me, I didn't know enough about them, and I didn't try it. And I also
don't share much.
So I think like if I went back, I'd probably be like, just like throw yourself out there. It's all good. That would probably be my advice.
Yeah, very good. And then just to kind of like reflect on the name of the episode, what building roots abroad mean to you?
For me, it means building a network. It means creating friendship, memories. It means like putting yourself out there. It means also like getting changed by the culture you're in, by the people you're surrounded by, getting knowledge and being open to, being changed and learn.
I love that.
Yeah, just learning more about you and people around you.
Nice. And then I think that's the polemic question that we kind of kind of already have an answer, but I will do it anyways.
Okay.
Looking forward, do you see yourself still building roots abroad, like roots in Australia?
So no, because I am leaving in 3 weeks. And I think
it's just like, I cannot copy with that. So yeah, let's just listen because there's nothing I can say.
Yeah, no, I'm leaving in 3 weeks, officially quit. And I think it probably sounds really funny when I talk so great about Australia, and it is a great country. But I want to go closer to friends and family, obviously, like especially family. And it's also because I knew I would never settle down in Australia, and if I went to go ahead and do another visa, I would have to stay 2 years. And I was just like, I would rather move back to Europe at 24 than 26. So I think it's easier to building roots.
Or even more than 2 years. Yeah, I think just for context, here the visa and to get permanent residency and everything is very long, very time consuming, and then the rules can change all the time, very expensive. So when she say that, is literally like maybe 2 years. I would say even more than 2 years if you want to stay.
Oh yeah, PR, it's more than 2.
Yeah,
definitely.
you're gonna probably get another 4.
Yeah.
So if you already know your place is not here, why not start in even your country is a new country. If I go back to mine, I have to start everything.
That's why like it was kind of terrifying, because it's still terrifying. Like even though I've done it, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going back to. But I'm like, no, I'm going to try it. And then worst case, if worst comes to worst, I would just try a different country.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And also, I think because we talked a lot about like your decision to do uni abroad and the work experience and everything, I think it's also nice to touch base that might help you a lot to find a job over there.
It did. Yeah. I had interviews where they were like, oh my god, I saw you in Australia. Like, that seems interesting. And I'd be like, yeah.
Interviews back in Norway.
Yeah. So a lot of people do actually like see it and see like, wow, that's crazy. And then you're like,
it is.
And then it's like such a great icebreaker.
Yeah.
And you can just be like, yeah, I did that. And it's really great because like I said, like employers can see that as like, oh, you're independent, you're confident, because it means that you can do a lot.
And it's gonna help you a lot, like to find a new job in your life, you know.
Yeah, and
as well.
like literally, I have now officially a job.
So she officially got a new job, which makes everything more official for me. But yeah, she got a new job, which I'm so proud of her. So I will use this space also to congratulate her. And I think it's very like the result of everything we are discussing, going through everything that you've been through, and then you just for me. Talking not about just her, but when I talk with my friends, everyone that decides to come back, I think they are even like more brave, because staying here, going through all the process is the right thing to do, you know, like you're already doing that. So staying is quite easier for some reasons. Of course, it's a very hard process, but it's easier because you're already in your comfortable zone. So you have to be really brave, doesn't sound like, but after 4 years you have to be really brave to go back to your country, because it's not anymore your comfortable zone. I don't know if a lot of people listening have been living for that long time abroad, but when you live that long time abroad, it's so hard to come back to anywhere you are from.
And also like it's hard because like I love my company so much.
We love everything.
And I love everyone, and I love my work, and I love Australia. It's like at the point I'm like, when I know the conclusion is I'm not gonna settle, then it's like, okay, at one point I just have to pack my bags, and I just kind of realized that I think it's time.
I'm very happy to know that everything is gonna work, and then it's also very good to have this perspective as well, because I think for the other episodes we might have a lot of people that want to stay, that want to leave, so it's always good to have like this perspective as well to understand how things are. But before we close the episode, do you have anything to say, to add?
I think the one thing I would like to add is like, if you're thinking about coming abroad, if you're coming out to Australia, I definitely say do a bit of research, because I didn't do that. And like do that because it's a bit easier.
Prepare yourself.
Prepare yourself. I didn't do that. And also don't overstress, don't overthink. You're gonna have your best days and your worst days. It's a roller coaster, and you just gotta sit on it.
Well said. Very cool. Yeah, I love it. And yeah, I'm so happy that we did our episode here in this room for whoever is watching. We are here in our office. So yeah, I'm very happy to be here. And yeah, I'm very glad for everything for this episode. Thank you very much for being here. I think we got a lot of insights of like someone that actually not just did uni in Australia as a marketer, but also became a marketer in Australia and now is going for the world as a marketer again. Yeah, so thank you guys very much for this first episode. I'm very excited to the whole project. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.